try to solve the Nabholz puzzle as Keith Miller leads it off. And he pops it up over near the Expo dugout. Galarraga giving chase, but it bounces in the middle of the hearts. There are no hearts on top of the Mets dugout, but I thought the Expos left their hearts in San Francisco. Here they are on top of their dugout.
They really left their hearts in Philadelphia, where they lost 4 in a row.
Oh, man.
They had beaten the Pirates 3 straight, the Mets 3 straight. They were back in the race, and then all of a sudden 4 straight losses in Philadelphia.
Miller takes a strike. It's 0-2 to Keith. So Keith has done well against the Expos. He's been on the disabled list twice, once in April and once in August. The curveball is low. A ball and 2 strikes to Keith Miller. We mentioned Nabholz from Philadelphia, actually Pottsville, Pennsylvania, about 30 miles north of Philadelphia. And his first start, June 11th, coincidentally, against the Phillies, and his mom chartered a bus from Pottsville, 48 friends, and came down to Philadelphia Veterans Stadium to watch her son pitch. It's 2-2 to Keith Miller.
He's held the opposition to a 161 batting average. He's really got off to a fantastic start.
And the curve gets Miller. This year, he was brought up for that June 11th game, then sent back to Indianapolis, and that's when he incurred all sorts of problems.
Never won a game there, all losing 6.
Strike to her, 0-1.
He has that good curveball. Good breaking curveball, and seems to have good control. He's given up 31 hits, but 6 of the 31 hits have been home runs.
There's the curve. It's high, ball 1. 1-1 to her. On deck batter, Tim Tuffle. In there for Dave Magadan. Magadan not in the lineup. Strawberry not in the lineup. Inside corner, strike 2. 1-2 to Tommy Herr, as Herr plainly disagrees with Dana DeMuth.
Taking another look at that pitch, it was a fastball. Herr close to the plate. It looked like it caught the corner.
No score, just underway here at the Big O, and the curve gets her. So 2 straight strikeouts on the curveball. Stats, as far as the Mets are concerned, they are 31-40 in 1- and 2-run games. As Tim Tuffle takes the curve, that's low, 1-0.
And they lead the league in runs scored with 734. They're only 1 short of the major league lead in runs scored. They've hit 165 home runs. That also leads the league.
It's something worth repeating. We talked about it yesterday. 31-40 in 1- and 2-run games. No team in National League history has ever won a pennant or a division with as bad a record as 31-40 in 1- and 2-run games. It's 3-0 to Tuffle.
Montreal having their trouble that way also. They're 29-28 in 1-run ball games. In 2-run ball games, they're 15-20. They're 44-48, 4 games under 500 in 1- and 2-run ball games.
And Tuffle walks. First walk issued by Chris Nabholz, and that'll bring up Kevin McReynolds.
The Mets have to keep pace with Pittsburgh, and in Pittsburgh, the Cubs playing there. It's the Cubs 1. The Pirates have yet to bat. It's in the top of the first inning. A run in, man on first and third, nobody out for the Cubs.
So good news for Mets fans. No score here in the top of the first. Kevin McReynolds, a good day yesterday, his 4th multiple home run game of the season. And he drills this one to left field. It's funny, this is how yesterday's game ended, with 2 on and 2 out.
That's leaving 9 men on base in their last 4 innings yesterday. Couldn't score a run that they needed to at least tie the ball game and possibly go ahead and win it. McReynolds red hot. He's now 9 for 14 in his last 14 at bats. He had a great series against Chicago.
3 hits yesterday with those 2 home runs, a single. Mets losing 4-3. They lost 2 4-3 games in Chicago, 1 Friday and 1 yesterday. Pat Tabler, the batter, he's 4 for 11 as a member of the Mets. Line drive, and it's DeShields who makes the play. Tabler didn't hit it well. He hit it off the end of the bat. Giants 0-4 in September and 9-14 for the season.
173 strikeouts in 171 innings. And he'll be pitching to Tim Raines, playing left field. Batting second to second baseman Delano DeShields. Batting third at first base Andres Galarraga. Batting fourth to third baseman Tim Wallach. Batting fifth and catching Mike Fitzgerald, the former Mets catcher. Batting sixth, playing right field Marquise Grissom. Batting seventh to center fielder Dave Martinez. Batting eighth to shortstop Spike Owen. And Chris Nabholz, the pitcher, batting ninth.
Defensively for the Mets, McReynolds, Miller, and Tabler in right field. Jeffries, Johnson, Hurd, Tuffle on the infield. Charlie O'Brien behind the plate. And Fernandez's first pitch is a strike to Tim Raines. Raines has batted leadoff for the last 13 games. 630 stolen bases now for the speedy Raines. He's only 19 behind Bert Campaneris. 1-1.
In the Pittsburgh game, Andre Dawson grounded into a fourth place, scoring Ryan Sandberg. So now the Cubs leading 2-0 with a man on first and 1 out. That's in the top of the first.
Inside, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. There's Pat Tabler in right field. I was talking to Pat earlier about playing right field. We talked about him. And here it is. It's hit to Pat Tabler in right field. Our producer, Jeff Mitchell, has a great feel for this business, doesn't he? 1 out.
He's prescient.
Prescient. He certainly is. I was talking to Tabler before the game, and he said he prefers playing right field more than any of the other outfield positions, and it's very unusual. I said, why? He said, well, when a right-hander hits the ball slices into my glove hand, and when a left-hander hits it, it hooks into my glove hand. Delano DeShields takes strike 1. I've never heard that explanation, but it makes a lot of sense.
Well, one thing, it is harder to play right field. They have the longer throws. You're having to throw to third base and also to home.
Curve to DeShields is outside. 1-1.
There are a lot of outfielders that prefer to play the field closest to the dugout they're going to, so they don't have that long run.
Swing and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes to DeShields. Of course, in the olden days, used to leave their gloves at their position, so if they were closer to the position, they could keep an eye on their glove, right?
Well, somebody might steal it. You got to watch it all the time. People are amazed that gloves were left on the field when you tell them that. It stopped about 1953, somewhere in there.
And DeShields down on strikes. DeShields 4 for 27 on this last road trip. His woe
15 times in his last 35 official at-bats.
Change, swing and a miss. 0-1 to Galarraga. No score here in the first inning.
First player in Major League history to lead the league in hits and also strikeouts.
Weird combination. Fastball is inside. 1-1. Different theories about that. A lot of hitting instructors say cut down on the swing. outside. 2 balls and a strike. You hate to take away the naturalness of a hitter.
Especially a power hitter like this.
Sure. Home runs this year, the 3rd consecutive season he has hit 20 or more, and it's a ball and 2 strikes to Galarraga.
If you subscribe to the Dick Stewart theory of hitting, he said he was the most valuable player on the team because he always led the team in strikeouts. He says, that way I don't hit in the double plays.
Well, Galarraga goes down for the 163rd time this year. No score after 1, and we'll be back after this from R.C. Cola. Wrigley Field, failing to score in any of those runners, and they lost 4-3 to Chicago. Their magic number is 7. Any combination of wins and losses that totals 7. And the Pittsburgh Pirates win the Eastern Division of the National League. Provided Montreal doesn't win the rest of their games. They're still in it. Their magic number is 3. 2 balls, no strikes to Greg Jeffries, leading off the 2nd. There's a strike. 2-1.
A lot of talk up here and around baseball that Buck Rogers has done the best job as manager in the National League, taking this team that most people pick to finish next to last or last into the pennant race.
14 rookies on this Montreal club, and 5 different pitchers have won their first major league games. 2-2 to Jeffries. This one hit deep to left field. Rains over near the line, and he looks up, and he makes the play. Tim Raines caught the ball about a foot before slamming into that protected left field wall, and there's one away here in the 2nd.
Well, Jeffries robbed of an extra base hit in Chicago, and now right here, this ball in foul territory, and Raines makes a good play on him to take his at-bat away.
Got to give an outfielder a lot more confidence going close to the wall when it's padded like that.
Makes all the difference in the world.
Ted Williams wished the wall was padded while chasing a Ralph Kiner drive in the 1950 All-Star game. Broke his elbow, didn't he?
Broke his elbow in Comiskey Park. Said he could never really hit after that. All he did was hit 380.
Yeah, right. 57, 388 at the age of 39. Couldn't hit a lick, that Ted Williams. A ball and no strikes to Howard Johnson.
You know, he caught that ball in the 1st inning, I believe, and played 9 innings of that ball game with a broken elbow.
This ball hit to left also. Rains back, and now in his tracks makes the play. So 2. But he has contributed some offense for the Mets, some big hits.
He's driven in 9 runs, and several of those runs were big hits. Mets not able to use Mackey Sasser. He's still injured.
Line drive, base hit. So the Mets with 2 hits now, as Ralph said earlier, doubling their total from last Thursday when Nabholz one-hit them, beating them 2-0 in the 2nd game of that doubleheader.
Both of the Mets hits coming with 2 men out. But it does clear the pitcher, Sid Fernandez, as he comes up.
Sid, a good hitting pitcher, 11 hits on the year. And a fastball for a strike. Galarraga, of course, behind Charlie O'Brien. O'Brien is not a fast runner. Outfield shaded around toward left field for Fernandez. And he hits it toward left, but foul, 0-2.
You know, with Montreal losing those pitchers that they gave up to get Langford and then losing Langford, they've done an amazing job this year. They're number 1 in earned run average at 3.37. Langston, I should say.
Yeah, Boy, is he having problems over with California. And Sid Fernandez had problems with that curveball. 6th inning and beat the Mets 4-3. Tim Wallach will lead it off for the Expos here in the bottom of the 2nd. Wallach, another fine year. Ball 1 to Tim Wallach.
Wallach trying to become the 3rd Expo to hit 300 with 100 RBIs. One of them was a Mets player at one time, Ken Singleton. Singleton back in 1973 hit 302 with 103 runs batted in. Al Oliver hit 331 with 109 RBIs. That was back in 1982. Wallach trying to do the same thing.
1-1 pitch outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Two and two. Ken Singleton, that brings back memories of the worst trade the Expos ever made. Ken Singleton, Mike Torres to the Orioles for Rich Coggins and Dave McNally.
McNally was all through when they got him.
Man. 2-2 gets Wallach. 3 straight strikeouts now for Fernandez.
.95 ERA with 20 innings of work, 27 Ks, but 10 walks and 10 runs scored, giving up 15 hits. He's lost his last 4 starts.
Talked about it in the opening. 0 for September. His last win coming August 30th against the Giants, and Fitzgerald fouls it back. 0-1.
And amazingly, he leads the league in holding the opposition to the lowest batting average as a team, 203, something that he is certainly proficient in.
Strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes to Fitzgerald. So Fitzy has been swinging the stick. This curveball grounded foul. You know, Fitzgerald in the first game of that doubleheader had a big pinch hit off Frank Viola last Thursday. Pinch hit in the 7th inning, and that was the inning the Expos went in front of Viola. They eventually won that game 6-4, and then, as we said, beat Fernandez and the Mets in game 2, 2-0. It's 0-2 to Fitzgerald. Still 0-2.
He has a very interesting record as a catcher for Montreal. They have a winning record when he's behind the plate, and have every year that he's been in the game as a starting catcher.
That is 4 straight strikeouts for Sid Fernandez. 2 outs here in the 2nd inning. That'll bring up Marquise Grissom. Grissom batting .253, and he takes a fastball high, ball 1. You mentioned Fitzgerald's record as a catcher. He's 47-32, or the Expos are, with him behind the plate. That's a very, very impressive number for a catcher. You really take pride in that. You may take an 0 for 4, but you know you've contributed to the game if your team can win. And they've won with Fitzgerald behind the plate 6 years in a row, over 500.
He's still bothered by that finger that was fractured and never really got put back in the right place.
3-0 now to Grissom. Probably taking. And he takes ball 4. So that's the first walk issued by Fernandez. And Grissom, who can fly, is at first base. 20 stolen bases in 22 attempts. No score here in the 2nd inning. First of 3 here in Montreal.
You can look for Grissom to be running. Montreal with 219 stolen bases. They've been successful only 69% of the time, but they continue to run. They like to put the man in motion on the hit and run play and also the steal.
So Dave Martinez is the batter. There goes Grissom. Fastball is high. The throw by O'Brien to the third base side. And Grissom was stolen base number 21 on the year. And it's a ball and no strikes to Dave Martinez.
O'Brien with a very quick release, but this one is offline as he gets rid of the ball in a hurry. And the throw arrives on the wrong side and arrives late. So stolen base number 21. And 23 attempts for Grissom. Tommy Herr, covering at second base, has to go off the bag to make the catch.
2 outs. Grissom at second. And a ball and no strikes to Dave Martinez. The curve is outside. Ball 2, 2-0. 6 straight balls from Fernandez.
Martinez with a .308 batting average against the Mets this year. He's hit the Mets well.
Fouls it back. He's a good player. Not only is he a good everyday player, but how many outfielders are left-handed hitters that play every day against left-handed pitching? Not many.
He was traded for Mitch Webster, a trade that no one really understood. Webster much older than he, and Martinez coming to Montreal from Chicago.
Back in 1988. And Webster on to Cleveland. That's where he's hanging his hat nowadays. 2 balls, 1 strike to Dave Martinez. Ball 3.
He took 4 days to report to Montreal due to a commitment. The commitment was to host his own wedding reception.
The strange thing, that year he was married on February 18th, and he had his reception 5 months later.
Had to save up money.
This ball hit deep to right field. Back is Tabler, and he jumps up and makes the play. He is indeed suited for right field.
Well, this is an outstanding play, and it saves at least 1 run as Tabler, playing in place of Darryl Strawberry, makes a sensational catch.
Martinez complaining with Eric Gregg that the ball was trapped against the fence. We'll take a look at it when we come back. No score after 2. We're back after this from the 9X Yellow Pages. Brother. Keith Miller leads it off in the top of the 3rd inning. Miller a strikeout victim in the first, a scoreless game, and we're going to show you why. A ball and no strikes to Miller. Foul back, 1-1.
Well, did he catch it or did he trap it against the fence? Let's take a look as we check this angle out. Tabler going high, and it appears it's in the glove, and he definitely made the catch. Let's look at it again. And you see it go into the glove, and the white showing on the backside of the web.
Absolutely. Sharply to third, bobbled by Wallach. The throw, not in time. The throw pulling Galarraga off the bag, and Miller on an error, I would assume, by Tim Wallach.
It was scored as an error. The ball hit hard. Wallach playing in the guard against the bunt, knocks it down. He has the man if he makes an accurate throw, but in his haste, he throws it wide, and Galarraga pulled off the bag. It scored an error, and the Mets have a base runner.
That's the 20th error of the year for the usually sure-handed Tim Wallach. Won the Gold Glove twice. So with Miller at first, no score now. Nobody out, and Tommy Herr the batter. We'll see what Bud Harrelson elects to do. Strike one. How about that? We're talking about Tabler. Here, his first start as a Met in right field. He played it a few times with Kansas City earlier, about how adaptable he was and flexible. He loves to play right field, and he just shows us how and why.
Got to believe him now.
Yeah, right. Man. Miller with 15 stolen bases. He's been caught 3 times. There's Pat, left of your screen. Pat from the Cincinnati area, incidentally, and was telling me before the game that he has playoff tickets. He said, I prefer to go to Cincinnati in uniform.
He's got a shot if the Mets can just get it going.
Cincinnati leading the Dodgers by 4.5. It's not over in the National League West. Magic number is 5. 0-1 to Tommy Herr. No score here in the top of the 3rd inning.
The Dodgers have no games left with Cincinnati, where the Mets have 3 left with Pittsburgh.
There goes Miller. The fastball is high and the throw is low. So Miller with 16 stolen bases now, and he's at second with nobody out. 1-1 to Herr.
The Montreal catchers have thrown out only 19% of the runners attempting to steal. They've got only 41 now of 224, and Miller, of course, a fine base runner. The problem is getting him on the bases. You see Fitzgerald has that bad index finger that is crooked from a foul tip, and he's never really been able to throw well since he injured that against the Mets at Shea Stadium.
Had tendon damage in there, had it operated on twice, a pin put in it. It is a nasty looking finger. Tapper towards short. Spike Owen makes the play. Miller to third, and he's safe. The ball's thrown away. Here comes Miller home. 1-0 Mets.
Well, a big error by Galarraga as Miller forces the ball game, and that's the type of player Miller is. And the Mets have always thought he would make an ideal leadoff batter. He's safe on an error because of his speed, and then steals second base, and then when the throw goes over to first base from the shortstop, Miller breaks for third. Galarraga, in his haste, throws it away, way away, and Miller gets up and scores, and the Mets lead 1-0. There you see the outstanding base running ability of Keith Miller as he goes to third, gets up and comes in to score.
So like an inventor, Keith Miller makes something from nothing. And here's Tim Tuffle, who walked in the first. The curve is low, ball 1. Nothing Mets. The first run they've scored off Nabholz in 12 innings. It's 2-0 to Tuffle. The run, of course, unearned. The error of put him on, and the error by Galarraga sent him home. Fouled off near the Mets dugout. Fitzgerald and Wallach can't get to it, so it's 2-0. Make that 2-1 to Tim Tuffle. Talk about a run that was given to the Mets. Even though Miller forced it with his speed to get to first, he stole second and then forced that bad throw to third. What a way to go around the bases, huh?
His speed really creating 2 errors.
Yep. Fouled off down the left field line. Yeah, I mean, his speed creates the 2 errors. I mean, there was speed going 270 feet or 360 feet. 90 times 4.
That's right. Good play out there by that ball girl. How about that catch? Calmly sits down, says routine play.
Another day at the office. Nothing to it.
Sign her up.
Two and two to Tim Tuffle.
Must be a friend of Kevin McReynolds. Not much emotion there.
Curve gets Tuffle. So that's strikeout number 4 for Nabholz. There are 2 outs now, and Kevin McReynolds coming up.
All 4 of his strikeouts have come on this type of pitch, a curveball. Big breaking curveball, a lot of motion, a lot of movement. Tuffle thinking the ball was going to be outside, and it breaks in the strike zone. He doesn't like that call.
McReynolds singled in the first inning, and he takes a fastball low. 1-0 New York. A manufactured run by Keith Miller to give the Mets the lead. This one spanked to left center, and it's going to drop. Raines cuts it off. McReynolds with a big turn. So McReynolds with his second consecutive single, and he's at first with 2 outs. Pat Tabler coming up.
Taking out the Nissan National League scoreboard, it's Chicago 3 in the top of the 3rd, Pittsburgh nothing. Graybeck on the mound for Pittsburgh, 20-game winner for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Wilson pitching for the Cubs. St. Louis 1, Philadelphia nothing, top of the 3rd. No score. Atlanta and Cincinnati top of the 3rd. Later on, the Dodgers against Houston and San Diego against San Francisco.
Tabler hit a line drive to Delino DeShields with 2 on in the first inning. He hit it off the end of the bat. He didn't hit it real well, and DeShields made the catch to end the first inning. So he's 0 for 1. It's a ball and no strikes to Tabler.
Nabholz doesn't look like he has a good move to first. He's very, very deliberate going over there. He kicks very high when he goes over there.
I was thinking the same thing when he threw over there. Takes a long time to get rid of the ball with that high kick. Strike to Tabler, 1-1.
There's got to be some reason why he was 0-6 in AAA ball this year.
That was in 10 starts. Didn't get a lot of runs down there. He was at 7-2 at Jacksonville earlier in the year. We mentioned that.
There's his pickoff motion. Watch him now. He gets a very high kick before he goes over there. That time he didn't. That's a little toss. That wasn't as good one.
Ball and 2 strikes now to Tabler. There are 2 outs. 1-0 New York here in the 3rd.
There's the higher kick right there. Again, so he kicks very high when he goes over there when he's serious about trying to pick the runner off.
So Nabholz making Cole Porter happy as he is getting a kick out of pitching. He's thrown over there 6 times. McReynolds not running. This one grounded towards second, and DeShields to Owen. So the Expos run swing. A fine play by Tabler to end the 2nd inning with a runner on base, robbing Dave Martinez of extra bases. And then a gift run. 2 errors committed as Keith Miller circled the bases on an error by Tim Wallach. Then he stole second, and on a ball hit to Spike Owen. Owen threw out Tommy Herr, but on the play Miller went to 3rd, and Galarraga overthrew 3rd. And the Mets lead 1-0. Tuffle giving chase. 0-2 to Owen.
That was Galarraga's 10th error of the year. Last year, he was the Gold Glove winner in the National League, with the departure of Keith Hernandez going to the American League.
He won it by 1 vote over Will Clark of the San Francisco Giants. Inside with a curve, 1-2. Gold Glove voted on by coaches and managers. The MVP and the Cy Young voted on by sports writers. Ground ball to second. Tommy Herr just gets Owen. I'll tell you, Owen getting down the line in a hurry made a close play out of it. 1 out.
He's a solid ball player. Acquired from the Boston Red Sox. It's a very close play at first, that half-step play. Herr has made just 6 errors at second base this year.
He went through one stretch earlier in the year when he was the second baseman for the Phillies, where he went 50 games without making an error. Of course, Brian Sandberg blew that one apart. 123 errors without an error.
That's almost unbelievable.
That was over 2 years. One ball, 1 strike to Chris Nabholz, the pitcher. 1 out, 1-0 Mets. We're in the third. One ball, 2 strikes. And it's fouled off. Still 1-2 to Nabholz. This ballpark is quiet as a mausoleum, isn't it? Strange.
Always that way, unless the Montreal Expos are doing something. And of course, the Mets don't have all those fans up here that usually come in the summertime to root for them.
Curve gets Nabholz. That's strikeout number 5 for Fernandez. 2 out, nobody on. And that'll bring up Tim Raines.
And in the top of the 4th inning, the Cubs 2. Pirates nothing.
Took a run away from them.
Thought they had 3. So our scoreboard has decoyed us.
Yeah, I think it is 3-0. It is 3-0 in the 4th. Yeah.
Okay. Put that run back up there.
That's right. That's all right. There it is.
Cubs winning 2 from the Mets in that 4-game series, and now playing the Cubs 3 games. Then they come to Shea for 3 on the weekend, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday.
Tim Raines takes a fastball outside. A ball and no strikes for the Montreal left fielder, Tim Raines. Lined up the middle, and that's the first hit for the Expos. As Miller cuts it off, holding Raines to a single, and obviously look for him to run. 45 stolen bases on the year. Delino DeShields, the second baseman, is the batter. He struck out in the 1st inning. See if Raines runs on the first pitch, as Grissom did.
Raines has been thrown out 15 times this year. At one point, he had the best success record in stolen bases, 88%. He's picked off.
Yes, he is. The throw to second gets him. So Sid Fernandez with a rare pickoff of Raines. Raines was going to run then the minute Sid picked that busman's holiday, I guess. Okay. Top of the 4th, the Mets on top 1-0. Here's Ralph for the play-by-play.
Okay, Tim, and for the Mets, it'll be Greg Jeffries to lead it off. Jeffries out his first time up on a very fine play by Tim Raines in foul territory to take an at bat away. And the first pitch to Jeffries, a fastball for ball one. Jeffries batting .282 with 15 home runs, 67 RBIs. I'm going to pitch back a breaking ball.
That kind of threw me for a while because Sean McDonough and Ray Knight are doing the ESPN game tonight, and I'm thinking, what is Gary? Well, he's here for the game tomorrow night on ESPN.
This pitch grounded in the hole, and a long throw by Owen, and he doesn't get it on time to first base, and it'll be a base hit. Owen making a good play, but Jeffries has good speed, above average speed, and he beats it out.
Every hitter's speed increases when they smell that base hit, I'll tell you. Jeffries knows he's got a chance in that last lunge. The longest yard. Jeffries with an infield hit. Excuse me, Ralph.
That's with that infield hitter, runner on with no one out, and Howard Johnson the batter. Howard flying out the left his first time up. Chris Nabholz, 6-0 in the year, 1-0 against the Mets. And his first pitch is in for a called strike. The Mets on the road with a record of 34-41. They're 24-31 against left-handed starters this year. Howard Johnson with a good series in Chicago. And he grounds a pitch foul down the third base side. Jerem's away from our ball girl. She lets it go for Raines. Nabholz with a count of strike 2 on Howard Johnson. Johnson in his last 10 ball games hitting .333 coming into this game. He was 6 for 16 against the Cubs. Jeffries with an average lead at first base, and the pitch to the plate is taken inside with Jeffries breaking back toward first. 1-2 the count. Johnson with another strong year, 23 home runs, 88 runs batted in. The average down from last year, hitting .247, mainly because of his inability to just hit left-hand pitching this year. And Jeffries back. Two of Johnson's last 3 home runs have come from the right-hand side. Bottom of the 4th, the Cubs leading 3-0. Wilson against Drayback. And the fastball is popped up back of first base. Over there is DeShields, and he makes the play. DeShields, one of the up-and-coming young stars in this game. So Jeffries back to first, 1 out, and Charlie O'Brien the batter. You know, there's only one thing better than a Mets win. That's celebrating that win with a nice cold Budweiser. Mets fans, this Bud's for you. O'Brien with a single to left his first time up. That was his first hit against Montreal, and there's that throw to first base. He had been 0 for 7 against the Expos since coming to the National League. Batting 8th in the batting order. And the runner going, a late start. The ball hit in the air, though, to center. And the catch is made by Martinez, and Jeffries back to first base.
Yeah, anytime you see a late start by a runner at first, then you know the hit and run is on, or a 3-2 count or something like that. Those are similar running situations because you have to make sure the pitcher pitches. In no way can you get picked off in a situation like that. You see Jeffries looking with his first step, and he sees it hit the center, so he retreats.
So now 2 out, and Sid Fernandez, the batter. Sid was struck out his first time up. Nabholz started off the game striking out his first 2 batters, then he walked Tuffle, but after McReynolds had singled with runners at first and second, he got Pat Tabler to hit a soft liner to second. And the first pitch to Fernandez, ball 1. In the second inning, Nabholz gave up a single with 2 men out, but Fernandez struck out to end the inning. And a swing at a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Sid Fernandez. Mets got their 1 run in the third. It was unearned on 2 errors by Montreal, 1 by Wallach at third and 1 by Galarraga at first. But some outstanding base running by Keith Miller, who was safe on an error and stole second and then went to third on a ground ball to the shortstop. And when Galarraga tried to get his throw to third base, he threw it away and Miller came in to score. 1-2 the count, and the pitch to Fernandez outside, 2-2. Expos have won 8 of the 15 games between these 2 clubs this year. And Fernandez hits a fly ball to right field. Grissom right there. And that will end the inning. So a leadoff base hit wasted by the Mets. Jeffries left at first base, and the score at the end of 3.5. Lionel DeShields is coming up.
Perfect.
Le Grand Orange, huh?
Now let's talk, as Joan Rivers would say. Let's talk. I mean, what would lead somebody to do that?
I have no answer for that one.
Neither do I.
The Lionel DeShields will lead it off. He was left at the plate when Raines was thrown out attempting to steal on the pickoff. And the first pitch by Sid Fernandez, a curve in there for a called strike. DeShields struck out on a fastball his first time up. The first of Sid's 5 strikeouts. Montreal with 1 base hit, the single by Raines in the third. And back with an off-speed pitch, and it's 1-1. One the count as Sid Fernandez works for the Mets here in the 4th inning, and that pitch is a fastball for ball 2, 2 balls and 1 strike. In the Expos' last 10 games, they are 6-4, and 7 of those 10 games are started by a rookie pitcher. The 2-1 pitch, fastball for ball 3, and it's 3-1. The Shields will be followed by Andres Galarraga and Tim Wallach, so we're in the heart of the batting order. The 3-1 pitch by Fernandez, a fastball swung on and fouled, 3-2. Full count to the Lionel DeShields, who started off his major league career with 4 hits in his first game opening day. The 3-2 pitch walks him, and that will put a runner on with no one out. And for the first time in this game, Montreal with their leadoff batter on base.
To add to Sid Fernandez's problems, he's walked 4 in a row, and it seems like lately, when he has walked batters, it's been the fastest guys in the lineup. The 2 guys that he's walked tonight, Grissom and DeShields, have 65 stolen bases between them. 61 stolen bases between them. A lot of times it's not that you walk hitters, it's who you walk.
And when you walk them.
Yeah. You walk them in front of the big guys and the thumpers. You don't want to walk anybody, but a walk like this to DeShields to lead off the inning could be deadly. I meant he lost 4 in a row. I said he walked 4 in a row.
So DeShields with 40 stolen bases on at first base, and he draws the throw. Shields has been thrown out 22 times this year. As we mentioned earlier, the Montreal Expos are a running club, but they have been successful only 69% of the time. Another one to first. Wally Whitehurst is sawing in the bullpen. We noticed one time earlier in this ballgame that Sid had trouble after his last out. As he walked in, he was limping. There might be something wrong with him.
He had struck out Galarraga earlier in the game, and it appeared that he may have pulled something. It was on an inside fastball that he may have pulled a groin. So we'll see.
Now the pitch to the plate. The runner doesn't go. A swing and a miss. Galarraga has struck out 16 of his last 36 at bats. Now has 163 strikeouts. The record for the most strikeouts in the season, 189, held by Bobby Bonds, the father of Barry Bonds, who's having the great year for Pittsburgh. One strike to count. Runner goes. The pitch is swung on and hit to shallow, fairly deep right field. Should not say shallow. Pat Tabler under it, and he makes the catch as DeShields retreats to first.
Speed for that. Galarraga swings through too many pitches. Still 3-0 now. Cubs, that game in the top of the 5th at Pittsburgh.
Now the batter is Tim Wallach, who has struck out his first time up and throw to first base again. Steve Wilson pitching that game against the Pirates. He had a marvelous game against the Mets, did not allow a run, working 6 innings. Sid fakes the throw to first. You can do that when you break contact with a pitching rubber. But if you're in contact with that pitching rubber and do that, it's a balk. And the pitch to the plate outside. A throw to first base and a close play there as DeShields just does beat the tag by Tuffle.
Charlie O'Brien indeed has a good strong arm, but as importantly, he has very quick feet. He gets into a throwing position very quickly.
So 1-0 the count.
See how DeShields goes back for the outside part of the bag, and that makes it that much more difficult for Tuffle to make the tag. He has to go farther to make the tag.
1 ball, no strikes. The pitch with the runner going is swung on and fouled back out of play. So again, DeShields in motion, but the foul ball puts him back at first. That's leading 1-0. 1 out. We're in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Montreal with three base runners in this game, and all 3 have attempted to steal. One was successful, one was picked off, and so far DeShields running and the ball not put in play, and the pitch is fouled back into the stands again. It's 1-2. Sid Fernandez with a lifetime record of 6-6 against Montreal. He's 1-2 against them this year. Last year he was 0-1 when he had a record of 14-5. Shields with a good-sized lead at first. And again, Sid goes over there. Sid's last outing, he was the losing pitcher to Montreal in the second game of a doubleheader, losing 2-0. He gave up only 2 hits in 6 innings. Again, he goes over to first, throws it away. So DeShields goes to second. And now holds there. The throw to second by Tuffle is not in time. And on the air, charge to Sid Fernandez. Montreal with a runner in scoring position.
Well, speed bothers teams in a lot of ways. It really creates errors. You saw Keith Miller creating errors, 2 of them, for the only run in this ball game. And another situation where an error wouldn't have been committed had there not been a fast runner on at first base.
And now Buddy Harrelson out to talk to the home plate umpire, Dana DeMuth, and there's a possibility there is something wrong with Sid Fernandez. Wally Whitehurst continues to throw in the bullpen for the Mets. And that would be an indication there is something wrong with Sid. He was up and throwing when this inning started. He's going to go to him.
Looks like a groin pull.
So Whitehurst coming into the game as Sid leaves. He cannot be the winner in this game as he has not worked the necessary 5 innings as a starting pitcher.
Can't be the loser either.
So far he's been charged with no runs. He's given up 1 hit. You cannot lose it. And the time runners at second base with 1 man out here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And the pitch is grounded to the second base side. Tommy Hurt bobbles it, picks it up, has time. And he picks up the out as DeShields goes to third. Fitzgerald was struck out his first time up, caught looking at a changeup. And the curveball line to right, and that'll tie up the ball game. So Fitzgerald singles to right field, and it's a tie ball game at 1 as DeShields scores from third.
Now Mike Fitzgerald entered the game only 6 for 31 against the Mets this year. This is only his 7th hit, but it seems like every hit he has gotten has been a big one. And he gets another one here as DeShields scores.
Had a big hit against the Mets as a pinch hitter in the last series, swept by Montreal. They swept the 3-game series. So now a runner at first and 2 out, a tie ball game at 1, and Marquise Grissom the batter. Grissom never saw a strike his first time up as he walked on 4 pitches. 1-0 the count to Grissom, hitting .253 with 2 home runs, 25 RBIs. And this ball grounded in the hole and on through for a base hit. So Grissom hitting .121 against the Mets this year. Singles to left field to put Fitzgerald down to second.
I think Grissom got that hit because of inexperience on the rug by Greg Jeffries at third base. This ball really not that far away. This ball should be handled. You see, that ball's only a couple of steps away from Jeffries, but I think he wasn't used to that top speed. The ball may have gone under his glove.
So runners at first and second with 2 men out. Tie ball game at 1, and Dave Martinez the batter, and Martinez robbed of a extra base hit.
That ball, I think, went under his glove. So the glove was there, but he didn't have it at the proper height. Yeah, the spin of the ball, that top spin carried it into left.
And the curveball for ball 1. Martinez robbed of an extra base hit and a RBI his first time up on an outstanding play by Tabler, jumping high against the fence in right center. And a fastball for a ball. It's 2 balls and no strikes. The inning started off with a walk to DeShields on a 3-2 pitch by Sid Fernandez. DeShields coming around to score, and the base hit by Fitzgerald. And this pitch hit in the air to center field. Miller back. He has plenty of room, and he reaches up and makes the play to end the inning. But it's still but a run scored. He was safe on an error, stole second Went over to third on a ground out, and when Galarraga tried to get him going from second to third on a ground ball to short, Galarraga threw it away. And the first pitch by Nabholz is taken for ball one. And ball two, 2 balls, no strikes. Mets have had base runners in every inning. They've had single hits in the first 4 innings. They've left 5 men on base. And this ball hit to left field, coming over his range near the foul line, and with his outstanding speed, he outruns the ball for out number 1. Herr had the only hit against Nabholz and his one hitter against the Mets. That was a single to right field off a fastball coming in the 6th inning when Nabholz beat the Mets for his only complete game. This is his 10th game start in the major leagues, and the pitch to Herr this time is a breaking ball. 1-1. Herr's lifetime average against Montreal, 259 with 6 home runs. This year he's hitting 162 against Montreal with 1 home run, but he has 8 runs batted in against them. And he takes a breaking ball for ball 2, and it's 2-1. The Mets here in the Big O against Montreal have won 3 and lost 3. With this game and 2 more to play. David Cohn against Dennis Martinez tomorrow. And on Thursday night, it'll be Ron Darling, and the Montreal Expos haven't picked their pitcher. And there's ball 3, and it's 3-1 to Herr.
Pittsburgh has added another run in the 5th inning. They're still batting. It's 3-2 now. Cubs.
Three and 1. And the pitch to Herr is grounded foul, so it goes to 3-2.
Now, Jay Horwitz informs us that it is indeed the left knee of Sid Fernandez that is bothering him and caused him to leave after pitching only 3 3/3 innings.
So the Mets having to go to their middle relief, which has never been pleasant this year. Casey just joined us. The Mets are not playing with Strawberry in the lineup, and also Magadan is not in the lineup. This ball hit off of Herr's foot, so it stays at 3-2. Strawberry with a bad back.
Why you often see a lot of hitters with that protective device, that half a shin guard on the ankle, because they have the tendency to hit it down on the ankle. That ball, however, hit Tommy in the left foot. That was not protected. Or the part of the foot that wasn't protected.
First batter I ever saw wear that protection was Vic Wertz. 3-2 pitch hit on the line to center field. It'll be a base hit. So Herr singles with 1 out. And the Mets have a runner at first base with Tim Tuffle coming up.
Vic Wertz didn't need that protective device when he hit that ball over Mays' head in the '54 series, did he?
He surely didn't. Great catch by Mays.
The catch.
Now they've gone to the 6th, so the Pirates are out, and the Cubs still leading by a score of 3-2 as the Pirates got 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. They're playing at Free River Stadium. Cubs have finished at Wrigley Field. Tuffle has walked and struck out. He was called out on strikes his last time up, protesting the call by Dana DeMuth on a curveball. And this ball hit in the air to center field, chasing Martinez deep. Martinez back, turning and making the catch. Herr all the way down to second, now comes back. So Tuffle with a long drive to center for the out.
Timmy just hit it to the wrong part of the ballpark. That pitch away, and he drives it to center field to the deepest part of the yard.
Tuffle in his last 19 games with 7 two-base hits and 3 home runs. So Kevin McReynolds the batter. Kevin 2 for 2 in this game. He's had 10 hits in his last 15 at bats, and he swings and misses. Outside of Darryl Strawberry, he has the most home runs against the Expos career-wise. Strawberry with 31. McReynolds with 23. That's on the Mets team. Go over to first base and her back. Strawberry with a fine record career-wise against Montreal. .314 batting average and 31 home runs, and not playing tonight. Throw to first again. Now the pitch to McReynolds, a fastball high and away, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Tie ball game at 1. 2 men out. We're in the top of the 5th inning. There's Darryl Strawberry, a spectator in tonight's ball game. Darryl having a fine September. And the fastball is called a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Darryl with 8 home runs in the month of September for the Mets. This pitch swung on and fouled, so the count 2-2. Yesterday, McReynolds with his 11th 2-home run game. But it wasn't enough as the Mets lost 4-3. Mets had 3 home runs in that ball game, all solo home runs. 2 by McReynolds and 1 by Johnson. Toss to first and Tommy Herr back. This pitch fouled back out of play. The Mets at worst have to duplicate the Pirates until the last 3 games of the season, so the Mets come in with a chance to win all 3 games to win.
Or to tie.
Or to tie.
Yeah, if they lose, for instance, if they win 6, the Pirates win 6, the Mets would have to win all 3 in Pittsburgh to tie. Same thing if they lose 6 and the Pirates lose 6.
This ball hit hard but foul, so the count stays at 2-2. So if the Mets end up in the tie, duplicating the Pirates record coming into that series with Pittsburgh, and the Mets win the 3 games with Pittsburgh, the 4th game would be necessary. And that would be played at Three Rivers Stadium.
So they'd have to win 4 in a row at Pittsburgh, right?
Two and 2 the count. And a check on the swing. Did he go? He did not, says Eric Gregg, and it goes to 3-2. Galarraga will drop behind the runner at first, and Tommy Herr, who is on first base, will be going with the pitch. Runner goes, and the pitch is swung on and missed. So McReynolds strikes out to end the inning. 1 hit and 1 left. The Mets now have left 6 batters on through the first 5 innings, and the score at the end.
Spike 0 for 1 on the evening. 1-1 ball game here in the bottom of the 5th, and the fastball is low to Spike Owen. Spike grounded to second in the 3rd inning. There's a strike. Spike Owen coming over from the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox trailing the Toronto Blue Jays by a game and a half. The Blue Jays playing in Milwaukee this evening. Boston playing all of their remaining games at Fenway Park.
I think they have one left at Detroit.
A lockout game?
I think so.
This one lifted to center field as Keith Miller makes the play. One out here in the 5th inning. That would be 8 at Fenway and 1 at Detroit. Is that
I
right?
think that's right, yeah.
Toronto at Milwaukee tonight. Bud Black, recently acquired from the Cleveland Indians, is pitching against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Bud Black stating in the paper today he might be back.
Black back?
Back in Cleveland. He likes it there.
Nabholz 1-1. Cleveland now leading Boston 5-2. That game in the bottom of the 6th inning. A strike to Nabholz. In 1918, since the Red Sox have been in the winner on the winning end of the World Series. Not since Harry Frazier traded away that.
Babe Ruth was the pitcher for that.
Babe Ruth, right?
He had the best World Series record as a pitcher until Whitey Ford broke it up.
2-2 to Nabholz. The ghost of Babe Ruth, they say, has been haunting Fenway ever since. Nabholz down on strikes. That's the first strikeout for Whitehurst. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. And that'll bring up the leadoff batter, Tim Raines.
Harry Frazee wanted to finance a Broadway play called No No Nanette. And so he decided to get the money from the Yankees. And that's how Babe Ruth went over to the Yankees, who then were playing in the Polo Grounds.
Yeah, I said Frazier. I meant Frazee. $100,000. Broadway shows were cheap back in those days. Cake. 0-1 to Tim Raines, and it's 1-1 to Tim. Raines 1 for 2. And after singling in the 3rd inning, he was picked off first by Sid Fernandez. 5 hits for the Mets, 3 for the Expos, 1 error committed by the Mets, and 2 by the Expos. And this one lined to center, so another hit for Raines, and he's at first with 2 outs. DeShields scoring the only Montreal run after he walked and went to second on the throwing error by Fernandez, and he scored on a single by Mike Fitzgerald. Well, the Pirates have tied it at Three Rivers. Jeff King with a solo home run against Steve Wilson. It's 3-3, Cubs and Pirates. Outside to DeShields.
A real dilemma for Don Zimmer. He doesn't want to go to that bullpen. Ossenmacher worked 3 2/3 innings against the Mets. Their #1 bullpen pitcher in the game yesterday.
Raines back. Plus, he's a left-hander. So the Cubs really beating the Mets in two ways yesterday. They used their best guy out of the pen, Ossenmacher, in winning yesterday, and that probably will do him in until at least Thursday. The ball and no strikes to Delino DeShields. We're in the 5th inning, 2 outs, Rains at first, a 1-1 ball game. One and one to DeShields. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike to Delino DeShields, the second baseman for Montreal. The Mets scoring 1 in the 3rd. The Expos countering with 1 in the 4th inning.
And a good count for Rains to be running on.
Not running, and the fastball is low. 3 balls and a strike. There goes Rains, and the fastball is popped up left side. Jeffries and Johnson, and it's Jeffries who makes the play. Is it off for the Mets here in the 6th inning? That's right. He is the right fielder this evening, as Darryl Strawberry is out with stiffness in his lower back. Tabler 0 for 2, but he did make a fine defensive play to save the Mets a run in the 2nd inning. Tapped foul, 0-2. Martinez of extra bases and saving the Mets a run. Ball and 2 strikes now to Tabler as Alejandro Pena gets up to throw for the Mets. Fernandez had to leave a sore left knee. He was relieved by Whitehurst in the 4th. Line drive. It could be trouble, and is. To the wall. Tabler to second. He's going to try for third and make it. He's at third with nobody out. Good base running by Pat Tabler, and the Mets have a base runner at third with nobody out here in the 6th.
Goes with the fastball. It's out and away, and it's fair by about 6 feet. And down in the corner, less than 6 feet. Ball played back by Grissom. There's no doubt about him making the 3-base hit. And Tabler on at third base with his 5th hit for the New York Mets.
Hey, that's when a base runner needs the third base coach. You could see Tabler looking at Hiller about halfway between first and second, and Chuck told him to keep right on moving. There it is right there.
So he's waved on to third as Chuck Hiller says there's no way they can get him. The relay throw was not even in vogue there.
Popped up in the infield by Jeffries, and it's DeShields behind second making the play. So Jeffries, who is now 1 for 3, pops up. The Expos have 1 out, and Howard Johnson coming up. Well, I guess Buck Rogers could go one of 2 ways here. He could walk Johnson, but with Johnson batting under 200 against left-handed pitching, why would you want to do that? See, if the Expos bring their infield in, they were back with Jeffries batting.
They use that shift here. They start back and then move up.
If you're the runner at third, you really don't know what the middle infielders are going to do. They may start back and then move up with the pitch. Johnson is popped to second. Flied to left, and indeed the infield is moved in. A ball and no strikes to Howard Johnson, and now they remain in.
You look at the shift being made as they come in just before the pitch, hoping to confuse the base runner at third and also the batter.
Tell you, that cuts down on your movement from left to right if you're moving in like that. 1-1 to Johnson. Tabler at third, 1 out. Charlie O'Brien is on deck. Grounded foul. Howard Johnson's got to hit more pulled foul balls than any hitter in the National League. Quick hands are both his weapon and his Achilles heel. 1-2 to Johnson. Did he go? Yes, he did. Now there are 2 outs, and Tabler remains at third.
Well, Jeffries hits the first pitch and pops it up to the second baseman, and now Johnson chases a curveball way out of the strike zone and is called out by the first base umpire, Eric Gregg, on a swinging strike, and that leaves it up to Charlie O'Brien, who has a base hit.
So Darren Reed moves into the on-deck circle. O'Brien 1 for 2. Inside, ball 1. Tabler opened the inning with a triple, and then on the first pitch, Greg Jeffries popped up, and Howard Johnson struck out. With Straub.
It has been the Big Bang Theory all season long.
2 balls and a strike to Charlie O'Brien. The curve is low. 3 balls and a strike to O'Brien.
This will go to a pinch hitter. If back for the Pirates.
A curve, a good play by Fitzgerald as Charlie O'Brien walks. And that's the second walk of the ball game given up by Chris Nabholz. He has struck out 6. Goes. Then the Expos are talking about what to do defensively, and Hiller's telling Tabler what to do in case they send Charlie O'Brien. So Darren Reed is the pinch hitter for Wally Whitehurst, who went 1 2/3 innings in this 1-1 ball game. 1-1 ball game. Low on the curveball. Ball 1. Another curve and a beauty. 1-1 to Darren Reed. Pinch hitting for Wally Whitehurst. Popped up near the Expo dugout and out of play.
The only way you can work that play is get into a rundown.
Yeah.
Hope the runner from third can get in.
He's not going, and this one swing and a miss struck him out. So Darren Reed down on strikes as Nabholz records his 7th strikeout of the game. Along with moving base runners continue to have that as a problem, as the fastball from Pena is high to Galarraga. Still 1-1 here in the 6th. Leadoff single by Jeffries in the 4th, and he was stranded at first as Johnson, O'Brien, and Fernandez couldn't move him. The leadoff triple in the 6th. Tabler stranded at third base. 1-1 to Galarraga.
That's the one that really hurt.
Ball 2 to Galarraga. 2-1. Foul back. 2-2. Pirates still tied in Pittsburgh. 3-3. That game in the bottom of the 7th now. Bill Long is the right-hander in relief of Steve Wilson. Fouled away. The Pirates' biggest lead. Only 4 teams have had a September lead of at least 3.5 games and have not won the division. The 78 Red Sox, that's in both leagues. 78 Red Sox, 69 Cubs, the 82 Dodgers, and the 87 Blue Jays had a September lead of at least 3.5 games and didn't win the division. So the odds certainly favor the Pirates. Now it's Mitch Williams in relief of Bill Long. So the Pirates are doing something in the bottom of the 7th. Still 2-2 to Galarraga. 1-1 here at the Big O in Montreal. We're in the 6th. Still 2-2. Ball 3, 3-2. Incidentally, the biggest lead ever overcome by a September team, the 1964 Cardinals. 8.5 behind the Phillies, and they caught them and won it as Galarraga goes down on strikes.
That's one.
Tim Wallach now the batter, and a fastball for a strike. Wallach 0 for 2 on the evening. He struck out against Sid Fernandez, grounded out against Whitehurst, and now it's 0-1 against Pena. Ball 1. A ball and 2 strikes now. Inside, ball 2, 2-2. Tapper by Pena. Tough play, and he can't make it. So an infield hit for Tim Wallach. And Herm may have lost a couple of steps, but he still has sure hands. Only 2 errors in his last 90 games. Mike Fitzgerald has driven in the only Expo run with a 2-out single in the 4th. Slider, strike 1, 0-1. Tom Runnels, the third base coach, over at first. Tommy Harper and Fitzgerald calling time. He wants Runnels to do it again. No balls, 2 strikes now to Fitzgerald, so forget the hit and run.
The Pirates have picked up one more. They're leading 5-3 in the bottom of the 7th. They've won that ball game no matter what the Mets do. Pirates will gain 1 game in that magic number column.
Ball and 2 strikes to Fitzgerald.
If the Mets
Slider hammered foul. So Pena goes to the slider.
Wallach doesn't figure to be running.
Not now, no. Right on the outside corner. The second strikeout for Pena in the bottom of the 6th inning. Strike one to Walker. Larry, Canadian-born from Vancouver. What a lovely city that is. Ball one, 1-1. Line drive, Johnson snags it. So Larry Walker hit it hard
4 times in this game now with this appearance. The first pitch, ball 1. Miller has scored the only run for the Mets. It was unearned. After he reached first base on there, he stole second base on a ground ball to the shortstop. Miller held at second and then crossed to third as the out was made at first, and Galarraga, trying to get him at third, threw the ball away, and that's how the Mets scored. And the high fastball for ball 2. 2-0 to Keith Miller, followed by Tommy Herr and Tim Tuffle. Taking all the way, and it's 2-1 on the called strike. Mets with a handsome chance to take the lead in the 6th inning when Tabler led off the inning with a triple, but he was left at third. The 2-1 pitch, and it's hit in the air to shallow left center field. Coming up is Martinez, and Miller's out.
Dodgers' magic number is 5.
Tommy Herr takes the first pitch for ball 1.
Cincinnati will probably lose their game with Atlanta up 9-0. So the Dodgers have to win. If they do, they'll be 3.5 behind Cincinnati.
And that magic number will stay at 5. Pitch back, a ball. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Nabholz has given up 1 run. It was unearned. He has allowed 6 hits while striking out 7. He's walked just 1. There's ball 3. So Nabholz behind 3-0 to Herr with Tim Tuffle on deck. 3-0 pitch, and it's ball 4, so the Mets have a runner on with 1 out in this ball game, tied at 1. And they have had a base runner in every inning. Darrell Boston.
I think that's an indication of how desperate the Mets' offensive situation has become. Without Strawberry in there, I mean, this is probably an indication that Buddy Harrelson would put Boston in motion, I would think.
Boston, with 14 stolen bases in 20 attempts, does have a lot more speed than Herr. As Tuffle steps into the batter's box, Tuffle 0 for 2 with a walk, flied out to deep center in the 5th. And the first pitch to Tuffle, a breaking ball for ball 1. Tuffle not counting this game in his last 19 games with 7 two-base hits and 3 home runs in Buckles for Oakland. And the next pitch is again out of the strike. The 2-0 pitch goes over to first instead, and Boston is back.
It's a dangerous situation for Nabholz. Tim Tuffle has 2 home runs in this ballpark this year. They have both been big home runs.
Now the 2-0 pitch, and Tuffle hits it hard. Hits a bag, bounces out into an area back of third base, and it'll be a base hit, and a tough break for the Mets. As that ball had not hit the bag, it would have been an extra base hit. But the ball stays in the infield as it caroms off the bag, and Wallach is able to keep Boston at second base.
You know what I think Wallach was talking about? The ball hit the bag, it came up in the air, he caught it in the air, and he looked at Eric Gregg as if to say, was that a catch? Ball didn't hit the ground, it hit the bag. But the bag's on the ground. Tim trying to be very shrewd over there. See, that ball never hit the ground while they caught it? Huh.
So now we're breaking ball for a called strike. Burke did not have a lot of time to warm up. Mets have runners at first and second with one man out. McReynolds 2 for 3 in this game. He's had 10 base hits in his last 16 at-bats, a fine series against the Cubs. And Burke's next pitch is swung on and missed, and McReynolds now with a 2-strike count. Out earlier, the Mets have not moved a base runner in this game since the first inning. The only time they've had a base runner on base that they have moved up a base was back in the first inning. Tim Teufel walked and McReynolds singled to left.
Who comes out to pinch hit for Tabler but Dave Magadan? About that.
And here's the 2-strike pitch, a half swing, and McReynolds out on 3 pitches.
Average doesn't reflect it. Is about as good a hitter against a left-hander as he is a right-hander. He hadn't been totally that way this year. But I guess that's the reason that Burke's still in there, not Fry.
Magadan with much more experience as a pinch hitter. 21 at-bats, and he's had a total of 8 base hits. So the Mets with runners at first and second, and the first pitch to Magadan, the fastball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Boston the runner at second base, Teufel the runner at first. And the pitch again is low and outside.
I think another reason that Buddy is using Magadan here is you can put Teufel at second base, Magadan at first, because Boston's already in the game. Boston will go in the outfield to be the defensive player for Tabler.
Strawberry, incidentally, has pinch hit 5 times this year, and he has not had a base hit. Base, Tim Teufel. Boston coming in as a base runner, and the pitch to Magadan is swung on and fouled down the left side, so they count 2 balls and 1 strike. He has walked 70 times. So much more selective hitter than Darryl Strawberry would be. 2-1 the count. And that pitch in there called strike. Magadan in the Cubs series was, so it's 2-2. 2 men away, 2 men on. Tie ball game at 1. We're in the top of the 7th inning. The 2-2 pitch, swung on and fouled back. A shot down the third base side. It hit the bag and stayed in the infield. It was ticketed for extra bases. And again, the pitch is fouled off. That put runners at first and second. Tim Pirates leading the Cubs. Again a 2-2. And it's fouled back into the stands as Burke comes inside with a fastball. A dramatic ball game with both these teams trying to stay in the race. And Burke with an awful long read on the signs. Finally runners in every inning, but the 1 run they have is unearned. Now the pitch. Magadan takes it. It gets away from Fitzgerald. Boston goes to third. He's coming on around. Now he holds up, and wisely so, as he made a big turn around third and was all set to come home.
The reason for that was that Fitzgerald couldn't find the ball initially. Watch the ball carry him off the heel of the glove. He looks to his left, and now Burke points to his right, and that's why Boston takes that big turn at third base. Watch Boston going hard all the way, and watch the turn he takes before he slams on the brakes.
Good job of hustling by Darryl Boston. That puts runners at second and third in the count of 3-2. And now with first base open, Magadan has to have a lot of discipline at the plate, not go after a bad ball. And here's the pitch. And he hits it into the stands foul. So we set up again, and it's 3-2. And again it's fouled off. So Magadan hanging tough, a division title. Once again, the 3-2 pitch. And once again, it's fouled off. So Magadan getting a piece of it. And again, the pitch. Magadan hits it on the line into right field for a base hit. Boston comes in to score. Behind him, coming in to score is Tuffle. The Mets take the lead by a score of 3-1 on a clutch hit, pinch hit by Dave Magadan. What a job of hitting he did.
Boy, what a classic at bat by Dave Magadan, fouling off one pitch after the other, working the count to 3-2 with that wild pitch sandwiched in between. And now, instead of scoring one run with that base hit, he scores two as Boston and Tuffle cross the plate.
That puts Nabholz on the losing side of this ball game. All 3 runs charged to him, and it brings up Greg Jeffries. And Jeffries swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. But here in the 7th inning, they get a big 2-out single from Magadan, take the lead 3-1. And Jeffries takes the pitch for a ball, and it's 1-1. One ball, one strike to count. Magadan a short lead at first, and the pitch to Jeffries bounced up the middle, taken by Burke as he gloves it. The throw to first base retires aside. But the Mets. Dave Martinez leads off with a little fly ball to left center field, moving over is McReynolds, and he makes the catch. So one pitch by Pena, working his 2nd inning, and 1 man out. First pitch, a fastball, a called strike. Otis Nixon is the on-deck batter. He was put into the 9th spot in the batting order on a double switch by Buck Rogers, the manager, when he brought in Tim Burke. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 2. Spike on, hitting .241 in the year. 5 home runs, 34 runs batted in, and the fastball is high in the count, 1-2. Sid Fernandez started the game, had to leave because of an injury to his knee. Gave up 1 run on 1 hit while striking out 5 and walking 2 in 3 1/3 innings. Another ball call, so it's 2-2. Whitehurst came in to work 1 2/3 innings, gave up no runs and 3 hits while striking out 1 and walking none. And then Pena, now working the 2nd inning, gave up an infield hit his 1st inning of work to Tim Wallach. And the 2-2 pitch is pulled foul down the right field side, so the count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Pena back again. And this ball hit in the air to right center field, taken by Keith Miller, has moved from center to right, and 2 men out.
By the way, that at bat by Dave Magadan, that super at bat, 12 pitches on that at bat.
He fought off some tough pitches.
Oh man, what an at bat that was.
Nixon with a count of 1-0. And a fastball for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nixon hitting .245. He has 1 home run, 18 runs batted in. And he moves to bunt and bunts it foul, so it goes to 1-2.
Tell you, from the left side, you got to dare Otis Nixon to hit the ball over your head if you're an outfielder. Some situations where you don't want a guy to hit a ball over your head, you cannot allow those broken bat singles in front of you if you're an outfielder.
And this ball hit in the air to left field, where McReynolds is right there. He had him played perfectly and makes the stationary catch to retire the side. 0 for 3. That's leading 3-1, and the first pitch to Howard, a called strike.
Ruskin coming over from the Pirates, by the way, in the Zane Smith deal. A lot of people thought that was too much to give up for Smith, but Smith has won 6 games for the Pirates.
Boy, he has been something else with the Pirates. 6-1. And the curveball is grounded down the third base side. It'll be a base hit as Howard Johnson, with his great speed, beats it out with no throw.
Well, an infield hit right here for Hojo. Wallach coming in, and I guess he should have let that ball roll. Since he decides that he can't get Johnson, you might as well let it roll. But I think he had committed himself to the point where if he lets it roll, it might get by him and go for a double.
Be a nice double.
I know that sounds strange, but you've already committed yourself to come in.
Well, if he had let that ball roll, he probably couldn't stop his momentum and get back to it. And the first pitch to Charlie race again.
They were 10.5 back when that deal was made. They got to within 4.5.
This pitch fouled off to the right side. It'll be out of play.
They gained, actually, from 9.5 to 4.5, they gained 5 games in 7 days against the Pirates and the Mets.
And Zane Smith had said that he liked Montreal, but his wife didn't, and that they were not going to sign in the walk year with Montreal. So Montreal went ahead and made that trade to pick up some players they knew they could keep on their roster. So Montreal coming back and getting back in the race, especially after they swept 3 from the Pirates and 3 from the Mets. And this pitch hit down the right field line. It's foul. So the count stays at strike 2. And with Montreal getting back in the race after beating Pittsburgh 3 games here in Montreal and coming to Shea Stadium and beating the Mets 3 games, they went to Philadelphia and lost 4 in a row. How do you figure this game?
I don't know.
Mets leading 3-1. They've out-hit the Expos 9-5. They've had a base hit in every inning. And they had 2 base hits in the 7th when they took the lead by scoring 2 runs. They also have left men on base in every inning. They have left 9 men on and have 1 more on here. In this inning, there goes Johnson. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw to second not in time, and Johnson has a stolen base.
Hit of Fitzgerald, but now offensive interference is being called, saying that O'Brien interfered with Fitzgerald.
What he's probably saying, you don't ever call that play when we're in that position. Why would you call it now?
We've seen that play called about 4 or 5 times this year. And we've always contended on our broadcast in past years that it should be called more. We'll take one more look at it and see if Dana DeMuth was right. He checked his swing, and now he indeed gets in his way. It doesn't have to be intentional. You could see the momentum of the check swing going back, and now Eric Gregg is out to talk to Jerry Crawford. And Spike Owen is following Crawford now. Now, what's this all about? I mean, the play that
if it's interference, the runner has to go back to first.
Doug Harvey is now calling Howard Johnson out, I believe. How can Howard Johnson be called out?
So it's going to be a strikeout double play.
Yeah, but you can't anticipate the guy at second base being thrown out, can you?
I don't know. I haven't seen this one.
They told Johnson to go back to first base. Here it is again. Interference is called on Charlie O'Brien. Now, this is a strikeout, as it's DeMuth's judgment that O'Brien interfered. Okay, Fitzgerald's arm hit O'Brien, but you can't anticipate Johnson being thrown out. We'll try to get a ruling, but I don't know right now why Johnson is out.
Normally, under that circumstance, a runner goes back to first and it's just 1 out.
We've seen that happen about 4 or 5 times this year.
So the Mets now have 2 men out, no one on the umpire's call. And the batter is Pena, and he swings and misses. So in the inning, no runs.
Idea of really what happened. He said he would try to check the rule book and check with the umpires and let us know.
Normally, the runner is sent back to first base.
Yeah, exactly. That's what all the writers were saying, and evidently, the rule was changed at the discretion of Doug Harvey.
Doug Harvey, known as the Lord among his peers. So I guess that's the way it goes.
That's the right guy to change it.
I mean, if he says so, it's true. So now, Tim Raines with a count of strike 2 as Pena works his 3rd inning. He's given up 1 hit in his first 2. Raines in this game 2 for 3.
Certainly not an insignificant play, because Pena's bunting then, and you bunt the runner to second, chance with it to score another run. This game is by no means over.
And this ball hit down the left field line. A long way to go for McReynolds. He's in the corner, and he does make the play. So Raines is out. Good running catch by McReynolds.
Plate umpire about whether it was interference or not, and now he never argued with Doug Harvey, who punched out Howard Johnson. And we've seen it earlier this year on an interference like that. The runner goes back to first base. You can't anticipate a guy being thrown out at second, can you? I didn't think so.
Well, he certainly wouldn't have been thrown out even if he had not been interfered with.
That's right.
Especially if you look at the percentage of runners thrown out by the Montreal team. They were thrown out only 19%. Not that that doesn't have a bearing on the decision, but it's just a strange decision.
Yeah, it seems to me that what Doug is saying is that had O'Brien not interfered, then he would have thrown him out. Well, you can't say that if you're the umpire.
There are so many uninterpreted rules that are left to the umpire's discretion that are not in the rule book, but they have an interpretation over and above the rule book. This ball hit out to left field again. The batter to Shields, and again it's McReynolds. 2 men away.
Well, the rule book says that any batter or runner who has just been put out hinders or impedes any following play being made on a runner. Such runner shall be declared out for the interference of his teammate. I'll read that again. Any batter or a runner who has just been put out hinders or impedes any following play being made on a runner. And that's what I think, that's the deal. He did indeed strike out.
Right.
So had that been strike 1 or strike 2, then the runner returns to first. But since he struck out, that's the difference, and Doug Harvey is exactly right.
Well, he has to be.
He's the Lord.
He's the Lord. Now the batter, Andres Galarraga. Galarraga has struck out twice and flied out to right field. Has a 2-strike count now, and he fouls off this pitch. So the strikeout.
I didn't know that.
That's a good one. Struck him out again. So Galarraga with his 3rd strikeout in this ball game. And there is a first pitch to Keith Miller, who now has led off 5 straight innings. Not straight innings, 5 times. He has been the leadoff batter in an inning. He is 0 for 4, and the pitch back by Ruskin is taken for a ball. 2 balls, no strikes. And this pitch is swung on and fouled off. Do you remember this jockey who used to do country western named Sheila York?
No.
We were on their station one time, I guess prior to when you came here, and she wrote me a letter about similarly and regularly. And she says, think of similar as a first name and Lee as a second name.
Similarly.
Yeah. Because everybody has trouble with those 2 words. There's a drive down the left field line, but it's foul. Ball off of the wall. That ball really ripped. Miller has his only home run. To the count, and here's the pitch. It's swung on and missed. So Ruskin
got to talk.
Now the batter is Darrell Boston, batting for the first time, and he takes the first pitch for strike 1. Boston, the pinch runner.
With all due respect to Sheila.
She was an outstanding country western disc jockey.
I'm sure I'll be getting a letter from Sheila now. Not nearly as nice as the one you got.
You will be getting letters regularly from her.
Yep, probably similarly to the letter you received, right?
And now the pitch.
What it will be dissimilar to the letter you
from
got.
the
Right.
regular letter. It's amazing how many people have written and they say, well, why don't you say likewise instead of similarly?
Or also.
Or also. And now the pitch has popped up into left center field. Over there is Raines. And he hauls it in. So 2 men out. That'll bring up Tim Teufel. Teufel with a big base hit for the Mets in the 7th inning. Ball game tied 1-1. Tommy Herr, all kinds of tough pitches, singled in 2 runs that put the Mets up 3-1. And the first pitch to Teufel, a strike. Magadan with a real battle on his hands, but he outlasted Tim Burke. 12 pitches.
12 pitch at bat.
1 ball, 1 strike to Teufel. And this ball hit to left field, deep left field, going back as Raines to the warning track, and he hauls it in. So Teufel hits it hard again, but it's turned into an out. So a 1-2. Now we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Mets leading by a score of 3-1, and the first pitch to Tim Wallach in there for a called strike. Pena has not pitched more than 3 innings at any time this year. He is now working in his 4th inning, and his pitch back to Wallach hit down the right side. It'll be into the stands, out of play.
I think Gooden will probably have 1 more start if he loses his next start, and then the Mets are out of it when they go into Pittsburgh, because that'll blow him out of his chances for 20 wins. He's got 18 right now. If he wins his next start, regardless of whether the Mets are in it or not in Pittsburgh, he'll start to try to win 20. But if he loses his next start and the Mets are out of it, then somebody else will probably start.
And the 2-strike pitch just outside, and it's 1-2. John Franco is throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. The Expos with 2 right-hand batters coming up, and then they'll have a pinch hitter. We'll see how the Mets play it. Mets trying to win this one to stay somewhat apace of the Pittsburgh Pirates, who won their ball game. A swing and a miss, and Pena strikes out in his 3 1/3 innings. And now the first pitch to Fitzgerald, bounced out to third. A good play by Jeffries. The throw to first base for a good out. So the Mets an out away from picking up a big victory, as Jeffries makes a fine play on Mike Fitzgerald.
And by far the most effective Alejandro Pena has been during any outing this season. A nice play by Greg Jeffries. He had to play Fitzgerald in for the bunt. Fitzgerald, a good bunter. And because of that, that made this play that much more difficult. And Jeffries throws out Fitzgerald.
And Mike Aldretti will be the pinch hitter for the Montreal Expos. Aldretti has a pinch hitter with 9 hits and 34 at bats, 1 of them a home run. And his first pitch, a fastball swung on a miss. Aldretti coming to Montreal from San Francisco, hitting .248 on the year. He has 1 home run. That is a pinch hitter, and 16 runs batted in. And a pitch for a called strike 2. So Pena, working there here in his 4th inning, has given up just 1 hit, an infield hit by Tim Wallach. And the Mets a strike away from picking up a big win. And the pitch is swung on and fouled back out of play. If Montreal loses this game, their magic number drops to 1, with the Pirates winning. The Mets' magic number, if the Mets win this game, will drop 1 to 6. But it could be worse. The 2-strike pitch again, and it is again fouled off back into the for the Montreal fans. At least they think so. And there's a strikeout for the final out of the ball game, and Pena picking up the victory, his 3rd of the year against 3 losses. He has 4 saves, and the Mets win it by a score of 3-1 on the big pinch hit base hit by Dave Magadan that drove in 2 runs. The losing pitcher in the ball game was Chris Nabholz, and his record now 6-1. In his previous appearance against the Mets, he had one hit them for his only complete game and shutout in his major league career. So the Mets, winning their 86th game, they remain 3 games back in the loss column to the Pittsburgh Pirates. The magic number is 6, and Montreal's magic number dropping to 1. The final score, it's the Mets 3 and the Montreal Expos 1. Now here's a word from Budweiser. Well, the Mets win it by a score of 3-1. A big victory for the New York Mets as Magadan came up with a big base hit for the Mets, and fine relief pitching by Pena, who went the longest he's gone this year, working 4 innings, giving up no runs and 1 hit, while striking out a total of 5 batters in the 4 innings. Sid Fernandez started the ball game, had to leave because of an injured knee. It doesn't appear to be too serious. He worked 3 1/3 innings, giving up 1 hit and 1 run, and Whitehurst was in the middle. Chris Nabholz, who had a 1-hit shutout against the Mets in his previous appearance against the ball club, now 6-1, the losing pitcher. And the only run that the Montreal Expos got came on a base hit by Fitzgerald, the former New York Mets player. It came in the 4th inning and tied up the ball game at 1 for the New York Mets. So our Budweiser player of the game was Dave Magadan with a crucial pinch hit, 2-run RBI single. And on that pitch, it was the 12th pitch by Tim Burke, who was brought in the ball game in relief. The Mets get the 2 winning runs in the ball game and win it by a score of 3-1. So Magadan, our Budweiser player of the game.
All right, Ralph. And appropriately, Mets baseball has been brought to you by none other than Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. By Nissan, building cars for people who want more than just a means of getting from here to there. Nissan, built for the human race. By Manufacturers Hanover, where your money has power. By RC Cola. By New York Telephone, who reminds you that we're all connected. By the New York Daily News, New York's hometown paper. And by AT&T, the right choice. Now get ready for this, folks. Some of our guests this evening will receive from Acclaim Nintendo the metal-munching, car-crunching action of Bigfoot, king of the monster trucks, in Acclaim's hot new game for Nintendo.